Once a Soho House basic, always a Soho House basic bitch.
Jeffrey Epstein was also Harvey Weinstein, very prominent. There were members. Meghan Markle was just one of the working girls for Soho House. Call girl, working girl, escort, whatever you want to call it. That's what she was.
Before Meghan Markle ever became the Duchess of Sussex, she had already perfected a skill more powerful than any royal protocol: the art of networking her way to influence and opportunity.
Meghan has always had this very, very strange fascination with Soho House, very much this weird obsession with.
Forget the glittering crowns and strict palace traditions. Meghan's true triumph was her sharp instinct for recognizing power and influence long before anyone else in the room did.
Back in her early days, she was totally reliant on Soho House to pay for her travel, to pay for her accommodation.
And by her side through every calculated step was one man, Markus Anderson, the figure the tabloids now refer to as her social architect.
Guy has been around all of the time. Isn't that suspicious to you? Because it is for me. It is something strange.
Let's be honest, Meghan didn't just happen to fall into royal life. She ascended that ladder with confidence, latte in hand, and style to match, while Markus was right there opening the doors along the way.
Without Markus Anderson, I hope to prove to you in this video that Meghan Markle wouldn't have the level of global fame that she enjoys now.
While most aspiring actresses were fighting for a single line in a pilot episode, Meghan was sipping cocktails at Soho House, the elite members-only club Markus Anderson helped manage there. She mingled effortlessly with the powerful and well-connected, as if networking were her full-time job. Some called it drive. Others saw it as a masterclass in strategic social climbing. But whatever label you choose, one thing was certain: Markus Anderson was by her side through it all, her confidant, her problem solver, her key to the world she'd always envisioned. And now, after years of quiet rumors and whispered stories, Markus is said to have revealed something that could completely rewrite the Meghan Markle narrative. Because behind the graceful smile and modern fairy tale image lies a tale of ambition, careful manipulation, and a friendship that may have run far deeper than anyone imagined. But what Markus is rumored to have hinted at, that's where the story starts to get complicated.
He is like a parasite, always lurking in their shadow. No normal family has a constant third wheel, male or female, leeching onto their every move. Markus is practically glued to them.
Before Markus Anderson ever crossed paths with Meghan Markle, he was already the kind of man everyone in high society wanted to know. The one who could transform an unknown face into a rising star with just a single, well-timed introduction. Raised in Ontario, Markus didn't come from privilege, old money, or royal bloodlines. What he did possess was charisma, connections, and a rare gift for making influential people believe they couldn't move without him. By the time he became part of Soho House, that exclusive haven for the wealthy and the restless, Markus had mastered his craft. He wasn't just hosting glamorous events, he was engineering influence itself. Politicians, celebrities, business moguls, and heirs gathered in those luxurious lounges. And Markus glided through it all like a king who didn't need a crown.
Markus started off at Soho House London as a waiter, and he was a global membership director when he first met Meghan.
That's when Meghan entered the picture, a rising actress starring in Suits, already yearning for something bigger than what Hollywood could give her. To Markus, she wasn't just another familiar face looking for a reservation. She was focused, refined, and unmistakably driven. He recognized something in her, potential not only for friendship, but for strategy. And when Markus welcomed Meghan into the Soho House circle, the shift was immediate. Suddenly, she wasn't just a supporting actress on a cable drama. She was becoming a name murmured in influential rooms. Markus didn't just open doors for her. He redesigned her entire guest list. He was the gatekeeper to a world of power and privilege, and Meghan understood exactly what that meant. This wasn't about romance or gossip, it was about opportunity. Together, they built a network. One introduction, one elegant party, one calculated move at a time, crafting the foundation of a future that would soon capture global attention. But what Markus couldn't have predicted was that this dazzling partnership forged in ambition and access, would one day pull him into the center of royal controversy.
This is what Meghan has been doing. She's a piece of Klingon, like she clings to somebody who can get her there. So Meghan manages to befriend one person of a very popular group, and then that person introduces her to the others. And that because that she's being brought in by somebody they trust, she's welcomed in.
When Meghan Markle and Markus Anderson's paths finally crossed, the chemistry was immediate, not romantic, but charged with ambition. Markus was never one for idle chatter, and Meghan had no patience for small dreams. Together, they formed a social alliance built on timing, charm, and calculated intent. Markus recognized something rare in Meghan, a woman who could merge Hollywood's sparkle with the poise of high society. She was articulate, camera-ready, and always thinking 3 moves ahead, her smile concealing strategy. Markus, meanwhile, held the keys to a world few ever entered: exclusive dinners, hidden villas, and gatherings where global power quietly shifted hands. When the two began showing up together at Soho House events, people noticed. Meghan was no longer just that actress from Suits. She had become the guest everyone wanted at their table, and behind it all, quietly orchestrating the rise, was Markus Anderson.
Now, his job was to go to a new city wherever they were opening up a new Soho house, and his job was to find the best and the brightest of that city to invite to the founding members' party. And they didn't just invite anybody. To be a founding member, you really had to be somebody in the social scene of the city where they were opening.
He connected her with designers, philanthropists, and key influencers who could refine her public image. He orchestrated quiet retreats that doubled as networking opportunities, including one pivotal weekend at Soho Farmhouse, the secluded countryside haven where Meghan reportedly met Prince Harry for the first time. It wasn't luck. It was careful planning, guided by Marcus's unseen hand. To him, it was friendship. To Meghan, it was momentum. Every introduction brought her closer to the life she envisioned, and Markus seemed to relish every step of her ascent. But as her profile rose, so did the murmurs. People began to question, was Markus merely supporting a friend, or was he subtly shaping one of the decade's most talked about royal romances? Because when ambition intersects with influence, nothing ever happens by chance.
And that ridiculous story about how they first met, the whole thing was a tissue of inaccuracies, to be polite.
As Meghan Markle stepped into royal life, many of her old friends quietly drifted away, but Markus Anderson remained, sometimes uncomfortably close for the taste of those inside Buckingham Palace. He wasn't a noble, a politician, or part of the royal staff, yet he seemed to be everywhere: private celebrations, lavish retreats, pre-wedding events. Marcus's presence kept appearing, like a quiet echo that refused to fade. To palace insiders, he was a puzzle, an outsider, who had somehow found a way inside one of the world's most guarded institutions. His bond with Meghan wasn't just acknowledged, it was impossible to ignore.
Meghan Markle only becomes prominent for Soho House, guys, after she starts being on Suits and she's introduced to Markus Anderson. And then she gets more consistent and more prominent work, okay? Because then she could be in the presence of Markus Anderson.
Royal aides began whispering about the man who had Meghan's ear long before Prince Harry did, unbound by protocol. Marcus's influence seemed to reach places no traditional insider could touch. And Meghan didn't hide it. He was her constant, an emotional anchor amid the whirlwind of royal duties and relentless media scrutiny. While the palace focused on rules and decorum, Markus offered something she deeply valued: familiarity and loyalty from her world before royalty, but that closeness stirred unease. In the eyes of the royals, distance, discretion, and hierarchy were paramount. And Markus, with his Soho House confidence and celebrity connections, didn't fit the traditional mold.
A guest list to her wedding showed her real ambition was to be a star in California.
Soon, whispers evolved into speculation. Was Markus merely a loyal friend, or a gatekeeper quietly shaping Meghan's story from behind the scenes? His presence blurred boundaries, raising the question no one at court dared voice. Just how much influence did this outsider truly have over the Duchess? In a world ruled by secrecy and control, outsiders rarely remain for long. It began subtly, a hint in the press, an unnamed source leaking a fragment allegedly tied to Markus Anderson. But in royal circles, even a whisper can explode. Within hours, headlines erupted across continents, casting Markus as the man who knew too much about the Duchess of Sussex and wasn't afraid to speak. One alleged private remark about his unbreakable bond with Meghan quickly spiraled, transforming a friendship into tabloid fodder and feeding a frenzy of speculation.
He is the perfect person to be a highly paid consultant now for Soho House because he never puts a foot wrong. He never says anything about anyone.
Inside the palace, the reaction was immediate panic. The royal PR team went into what insiders described as containment mode, racing to trace the source of the leak and prevent any further damage. Meghan, already under relentless scrutiny from the British tabloids, now faced a new storm. And this time, the source wasn't an anonymous critic or unnamed insider. It was someone she had publicly called a close friend. The irony was sharp. The man who had once helped shape her public image had, intentionally or not, become part of the same media machine threatening to dismantle it. Markus remained silent. No denials, no clarifications, no defenses. His quiet only fueled speculation, leaving endless theories about what he truly knew. Behind closed doors, tension reportedly grew between Meghan and Harry. Trust was fragile, and every resurfaced photo or lingering rumor added fuel to an already blazing fire.
Markus fulfilling another role with Meghan Markle, and about there being lovely sailing days on the beautiful blue ocean.
For Meghan, it wasn't just about her reputation. It was about betrayal, real or imagined. When a closest friend becomes the center of a royal scandal, there's no easy way out. For Markus Anderson, the man once praised for his discretion, a single leak was enough to turn him from trusted confidant into potential liability. Once the story hit the headlines, the royal machine went into overdrive. Tabloids sensed a story, and Markus's name became the hottest topic from London to Los Angeles. Old photos of him and Meghan resurfaced, smiling at parties, traveling together, whispering at events. Each image was reframed, exaggerated, and twisted into supposed evidence of something beyond friendship. The narrative escalated quickly. Meghan as the calculating duchess, Markus as the secret keeper, and the monarchy cast as the unsuspecting victim caught in the storm behind.
Meghan Markle has never been a member. I don't know if she's become a member now, but she had been working for Soho House since at least 2005.
Behind the palace walls, the scene was far from composed. Senior aides quietly launched an unofficial operation to control the narrative. Calls were made, stories pulled, journalists cautioned. Meanwhile, Meghan's team worked to humanize her, issuing carefully crafted statements about loyalty, privacy, and friendship. But it was like trying to hold back a hurricane with an umbrella. Every clarification seemed to spark more speculation. For Meghan, the emotional toll was immense. She had already been painted as a disruptor within the royal family, and now her closest friend was being framed as her accomplice, Markus, however, disappeared from the public eye entirely. No interviews, no statements, no appearances. His silence only made the speculation louder. Observers saw the palace's frantic efforts as a sign of deeper fear that Markus might reveal more or confirm rumors the institution wanted buried forever. While Meghan's supporters rallied online, the damage to her reputation had already been done. In the world of royalty and media, perception is power, and once it slips, even a crown can't reclaim it. For years after the scandal, Markus remained a ghost, his name whispered in gossip circles but never publicly spoken. Then, unexpectedly, he resurfaced, not with a tell-all book or headline-grabbing interview, but through a subtle remark at a private event that somehow leaked online. His words weren't shocking, but their calm, reflective tone hinted at revelations just beneath the surface.
He knows, and everybody all around the world, that you would want to know. The very rich, the very connected. Anybody who is anybody would be in Markus Anderson's little black book. And he's never betrayed a confidence. He's never made a slip.
Markus admitted he had stood by Meghan through every storm, suggesting that much of what the public believed never reflected the full story. He neither denied the friendship nor offered an apology. Instead, He portrayed Meghan as deeply misunderstood, yet fiercely determined to persevere. It wasn't a defense. It was a measured revelation wrapped in diplomacy. Insiders read it as Markus quietly reclaiming his own image while protecting hers. Others saw it as careful damage control, a way to reset the narrative without reigniting old controversies. Yet the statement reopened questions. Why speak now, after so much silence? The timing fueled speculation that Markus wanted to step back before further rumors surfaced. Still, what stood out most was his restraint. He didn't attack the royals, nor did he expose Meghan. He simply confirmed his loyalty, even after the global storm. To critics, it seemed like manipulation. To her supporters, it was proof of enduring friendship. And to everyone else, it highlighted how intertwined power, privacy, and ambition had become. Markus may not have betrayed Meghan, but his quiet words made one thing clear. The truth of their connection was far more complex than anyone imagined. Sometimes the real story isn't in what's confessed, it's in what remains unsaid. After Marcus's revelation, the media frenzy began to fade, but the repercussions lingered like a shadow. Meghan Markle, once the bold outsider shaking centuries of royal tradition, saw her circle shrink almost to nothing. Glamorous brunches, secret weekend escapes, and the bustling social life she once enjoyed were replaced by tight schedules, private security, and selective trust. Markus, her ever-present confidant, receded once more into the private world he had always commanded, far from the cameras and public eye.
So this is way back in 2006. I wonder if Trevor ever knew about this. People can have double lives because look at these pictures could not be shown in the United States, all over North America, only in certain countries. And I don't think Trevor would even thought back then of going through a VPN and seeing where Meghan Markle is or what she's doing.
The media eventually moved on, but not without leaving lasting scars. Meghan was no longer just the Duchess. She had become a symbol of ambition, controversy, and survival. Markus, meanwhile, became an enigma, the man who had been there from the start, yet chose silence over spectacle. For both, loyalty had come at a cost. In hindsight, their friendship stands as a cautionary tale about power and proximity. When the spotlight burns that bright, even the purest connections begin to appear suspicious. Markus never sold his story, never sought to profit from the royal frenzy, yet the world judged him regardless. Meghan, determined to reclaim her narrative, leaned on her family and new ventures. But she knew something fundamental had shifted. Trust would never come as easily again. Behind every headline, every rumor, and every viral clip lies a simple truth. Royalty doesn't just test marriages, it tests friendships. When ambition, influence, and loyalty collide, someone always pays a price. For Meghan and Markus, that price was their bond, the one thing that had once made them unstoppable. The untold truth of their complicated friendship is clear. What began as a glittering alliance built on ambition and trust eventually became one of the most misunderstood relationships in modern royal history. Markus wasn't just a friend, he was a witness to Meghan's evolution. From Hollywood hopeful to Duchess under siege. His silence spoke volumes. His loyalty spoke even more. Yet in the royal world, loyalty always comes at a cost. Meghan may have entered the palace with charm and confidence, but every crown casts shadows, and those shadows often know far more than they're allowed to say. Marcus's story is a reminder that the closer you stand to power, the easier it is to be burned by its light. And if you thought this chapter was shocking, the next installment in Meghan and Harry's story promises to be even more extraordinary. In our previous deep dive, we explored the fallout after Prince Harry discovered Meghan's private yacht connections, a moment that shook their marriage and sent royal insiders into a frenzy. Stay tuned. The revelations ahead tie directly into everything we've just uncovered. This is Star Spotlight, where we pull back the royal curtain and reveal the truth behind the glamour. Subscribe, share your thoughts, and get ready. The next revelation might just leave you speechless.